Hi students, I am so glad that you are here with me today. I am super excited to do this lesson. Today we're going to read a story called My Rotten Redheaded Brother. And we're going to answer the questions in the workbook. So all you need with you today is this workbook. It says first grade reading and a pencil to write with, and maybe some crayons for the pictures. But if you don't have them, that's okay. All you need is a pencil. Open up to page 11, because this will be the first part of the story, okay? So I will let you know when we need the workbook, but just make sure that you have it close by and it's on page 11. All right, friends, I'm going to show you my slideshow for this story. It is called My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother. Now, rotten, I put this picture because rotten means she does not like him, that he might be mean. And redheaded just means that that's the color of his hair, that he has red hair. And your brother is someone who is related to you. So we already know that My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother is going to be about a brother with red hair who she might not like. And it's by Patricia Polacco. And so these are the pages down here, page 11 to 14, that you will need for your workbook. All right, I'm going to read the story, but I'm going to stop when we have to answer questions in the workbook. All right, friends, My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother. My brother and our mother and I all lived with my grandparents on our farm in Union City, Michigan. Michigan is a place in America, so in this country, but it's kind of far away from Tennessee. Now, my babushka, my grandmother, so babushka is another name for grandmother, knew lots of things. She knew just how to tell a good story, like in a book, a story. She knew how to make ordinary things magical. And she knew how to make the best chocolate cake in all of Michigan. After she told my brother and me a grand tale from her homeland, we'd always ask, Bubby, which is the other name for grandma, is that true? She'd always answer, of course it's true, but it might not have happened. Then she'd laugh. So here's a picture. There's the grandmother, and we're gonna meet these other people. All right. Now, I knew that she loved me, all right, but I couldn't quite understand how she could even like my older brother, Richard. So his name is Richard. He had orange hair that was like wire. He was covered in freckles. Freckles are like the little dots on your face. And looked like Weasel with his glasses. The one thing that my bubby didn't seem to know was how perfectly awful my brother really was. Mind you, he was always nice whenever she was around. But as soon as she left, he would do something terrible to me and just laugh. So here's a picture that I tried to help you remember that he would laugh at her when he was doing something mean. So here, look at, he's taking her doll and he's not being very nice. All right, let's keep going. There were so many things that I can't stand about him. The worst was that he was always telling me he could do just about everything better than I. Bet I could pick more blackberries than you can, he jeered at me one day. Here are the blackberries. No, you can't. Can so. Cannot. Can, he whispered. Not, I said louder. Can, he whispered so low that I could hardly hear him. Not, I screamed back. So they're getting in a fight. She's getting mad. He thinks he can do everything better than her, and she said no. Okay, friends, we're at our first page in the book. Go to page 12. I'm going to wait 1 second for you to open to page 12. Okay, you should see this page. where it talks about in the beginning. So it says, draw how Trisha, that's the girl, the sister in the story, feels about her older brother. So here you have to write what's happened in your picture. Here you're going to draw the picture, and here you're going to write what is happening in your picture. So I gave you some ideas. Now I can't tell you which one is the answer, but these are some things to think about. In the story, let's go back. Whoops. Let's go back and look at this picture. Look at her face and think about what her face says about how she feels about her older brother. Now, I put some emojis to help us. Does Trisha, is she happy about her Richard, her older brother? Does she miss her older brother, like he's gone away? Or can she not stand? She's mad about her older brother, Richard. So you can pick which one you think the answer is and put it in this blank. And then you can write Trisha, if you think is happy about Richard, or Trisha can't stand Richard, or Trisha misses Richard. And then you can draw a picture of Trisha, the sister, and her brother, and how she feels about him. So think about how her face should look with what answer you pick. So now you should pause the video to finish your answer, okay? So don't push play again until you finish this page. All right, pause it for a second. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, I'm so happy you're back. I hope you finished that question, but if you need help, just have your mom text Miss Martin or one of your other teachers, and I will help you. All right, let's keep going with the story. We both picked berries for most of the afternoon. So here's a picture of them picking berries. Well, he upped and did it. He not only picked more berries than I, he set a record that wasn't even challenged for the next 10 years. He picked so many berries that no one else did that many in 10 years. Wow. You make me sick, Richard Barber, I yelled at him. Then he smiled. That smile that only a rotten redhead older brother could smile. So he might feel happy that he did this, but she is not. All right, I guess I would have to face it. He could run faster, climb the highest, throw the farthest, and sit the longest. So it seems like he can do everything more than her, and she feels kind of maybe mad or sad about that. I wonder what she's gonna do. Oh, this is a perfect time to stop. Let's answer this question. Go to page 11. I'm gonna wait 1 second for you to get there. Okay, you have page 11. This is the top of the page. Now it says draw the two main characters. Now we met 3 people in this story, but you have to think about who is the story mostly about. Remember, the characters are who the story is all about. So think about who are the people who are on most of the pages. Who are on the most of the pages? Now, all you have to do is draw a picture of the one person here and draw a picture of the second person here. And then on the bottom of the page, you just have to write the name of the character that you drew in the box. So if you picked grandma, you're gonna write this word grandma. If you picked Richard, the brother, you're gonna write the word Richard. If you picked the goat, you're gonna write the goat. Or if you put Trisha, the sister, you're gonna write Trisha. So I gave you some choices to pick from. And you can take a second, pause the video, and draw who is the story all about. Who are the main characters? And then write their name here. All right. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, I'm glad you're back. I hope you finished about all the characters, but if you didn't, that's okay too. We'll get it We'll get it. We will get it after. Okay, let's keep with the story. There had to be something I could do that he couldn't. Then an inspired thought comforted me like a fresh breeze on a hot summer day. Oh, Richie, I cooed as I stood next to the rhubarb bushes. Do you like rhubarb? Now, this is rhubarb. It's a fruit that you might eat in jam or jelly sometimes. But they're in a rhubarb field. Now, no, he said, it's the sourest stuff on the planet. Now I knew at long last that I had him. Bet I could eat more of this raw rhubarb than you can without the puckers, I challenged. I don't think so, he said. I do. I don't, he said, narrowing his eyes. I do, I insisted. Don't, he hissed, looking smug. Do, I said furiously as I grabbed the first stalk and started chewing it, almost down to the leaf. So she was going to eat this whole thing. When I couldn't get one more sour bite into my mouth, he was still eating with relish. I thought you said you don't like rhubarb, I said through pursed lips. I don't like it. I love it, he announced as he popped the last stalk into his mouth. So he's still eating the rhubarb, but she can't anymore. I was so mad. I couldn't even feel how my belly was starting to ache. So she's got a bellyache. I can't stand you, Richard Barber. I double dog can't stand you, I screamed as I went into the house to be consoled by my grandmother. Yeah, and I'm 4 years older than you too, you little twerp. Always have been and always will be, he called after me. Then he laughed. Ha ha ha. The rotten red-headed older brother laughed. That night at dinner, I could hardly eat. Have you been eating angry apples again, child? Bubby, remember Bubby's grandma, asked as she sliced me a huge wedge of rhubarb pie. I baked your favorite. Richard gave me one of those extra rotten weasel-eyed greeny tooth grins. Look at how he's looking at her. He's smiling. She's not smiling. At bedtime, my Bubby came and sat at the edge of my bed like she did every night. Look at the falling star. So they're looking at the stars in the sky. We watched it streak across the sky. Then she spit twice between her fingers and gave her chest a loud slap. Why did you do that, Bubby? I asked. I was making a wish. Didn't you know that wishes on falling stars come true? At last, I knew how I was going to get back at my brother. For the longest time, I watched the dark sky until I saw a star shoot across the night. Then I spit between my two fingers and slapped my chest. It was done. My wish was to do something, anything better than my brother. I'd show him. The next morning, so this is the next day, all I could think about was my wish. I was thinking about it so hard, I almost didn't notice the wagons and trucks pulling into a field down the road near Four Corners. A traveling carnival, my brother shouted as he ran toward me. They're setting up right here in our field. Bet I can eat more hot dogs than you can, he teased. He was already starting it, but this time I was going to do something so incredible that that even he would have to sit up and take notice. I had a star wish. I'd show my rotten red-headed older brother all right. Look there's a carnival. That's almost like a circus with rides and games and animals, and they're gonna go. She's gonna hope her wish can come true, that she'll be better than her brother. That night, I ran straight for the merry-go-round. That's the thing that goes in circles with the animals on it. And I have a picture later. We must have taken 50 turns on the carousel. But then my brother got off. I stayed on. I went around and around and around. I knew I could last longer than you, I shouted to my brother, feeling proud and just a little bit dizzy. Trisha, I heard my bubby call out. Get off from that thing. It's time to go home. So she went on the merry-go-round for 50 times. That's a lot. Oh, stop. Okay, open up your book to page 13. It should look like this page. I'll give you a second. Okay, you should be on page 13. It looks like this, says in the middle. Now, it asks us, draw what Trisha does better than Richard at the carnival. So remember, we just read about something she went on 50 times and her brother got off. Now, if you don't remember what that was, you can go back in the story, you can look at the pictures, or you can even rewind this video and find where I read it. But I put some choices. Now, these are not all the right answers. You have to pick one and write it in the blank. It says Trisha blank for longer, because we have to write what Trisha does better than Richard. So your options are Trisha plays games for longer. Trisha rides the Ferris wheel. That's the one that kind of goes up like this. Or does Trisha ride the merry-go-round, the one that goes like this with the animals, for longer? Which thing does she do at the carnival for longer? You should write that in the blank. Trisha blank for longer. Pick one of these. And then you can draw a picture. And look it, my pictures can help you. Whichever one that you wrote in here, try to draw a picture of that to match what you wrote in your sentence. All right, you should pause the video. And once you are done, push play and we'll keep going. You're doing such a great job. All right, you should have finished page 13. Let's keep going. The last thing I remember was stepping off from the platform. Next thing I knew, I woke up with Bubby sitting on the edge of my bed. Mom and Grandpa were there too. You gave us all such a fright, Mama said. How do you feel? What happened? I asked. You fell, my rotten red-headed older brother announced with the biggest grin on his face. I don't know what we would have done, my bubby said softly. Your brother carried you all the way home, and then he had to run to get Dr. Lee. Wow, that's kind of nice. The brother carries Trisha home to make sure she's all right, and then he runs to go get the doctor. You had to have stitches. I watched it all, he said excitingly. You fell off the merry-go-round right into some soda bottles or pop bottles, my Gramps added. You even passed out, my brother chirped. Looks like you finally did something special. It was from that exact moment that our relationship changed somehow. Thanks, Richie, I said to him. What's a big brother for anyways, he said, blushing. Oh, so he did something really nice, and she's thankful for that. Maybe she likes him a little bit now. That night, we were all out in the yard on hot Michigan nights. It was my family's custom to sleep outside where it was cool. Look at the stars, Bubby said quietly. Wishes are funny, aren't they, I said. Sometimes they come true, differently than you think they would. That's why you have to be careful what you wish for. It just may come true, Bubby said. Then she squeezed both of our hands. Hang on to the grass, she whispered. Why, Bub, my brother asked. Because if we don't, we might float up to the stars. Then she leaned over, kissed us both 3 times. I kiss your eyes, and I hold both of your hearts in my good keeping. And this night, I thank God that I walked this earth with both of you. Amen. Then we all just lay on our blankets in the gentle summer night. I'll always be 4 years older than you, though, my brother whispered softly. Then he smiled. All of us held one another's hands as we drifted off to sleep. The end. All right, we have one more page. This time, go to page 14. I'll give you a second to get there. All right, it says you have to draw what Richard does to help Trisha. So it says Richard blank. So I gave you some choices again over here. So remember, when Trisha falls off the merry-go-round, when she falls off and gets hurt, what does her brother do? Does Richard carry Trisha home? Does he laugh at Trisha, ha ha ha, or does he call his mom for help? Now remember, this is at the end. So think about what just happened, not what happened at the beginning, but what happened just a few pages ago. Right when Trisha got hurt, what did he do? Remember, you can look back at the story or even go back to hear me read it again. But you need to pick one of these things that Richard does to help Trisha. And then you should draw a picture of Richard doing that for her. All right, go ahead, and this is the last page. You all have done a great job. I am so proud of you. I know that this can be hard to learn because I wish that my students were really close to me too. But you all are doing such a great job, and I can tell when I look at your pages, I can tell your brains are growing so big. You should be super proud. You should kiss your smart brain because I always say that your brain does a lot for you. So friends, thank you for coming and watching my video and coming to class. And I'm going to make more videos to help you through the rest of the I-Ready stuff because I know it can be really hard. But you all are doing such a great job. Bye, I'll see you later.